G'day friends, welcome to today's video. Hello, it's been so long. I'm very glad to be checking in back in with you all. Glad. I watched Pollyanna 2 weeks ago. I've been glad ever since. I love that movie and I love to be glad, so you might hear that pop up a lot. My apologies if the thrusters come back. They're coming back. That's so crazy. It's like I spoke them into existence. They've been on and off, and I figured, you know what, I want to chat to you, I want to say hello, because the longer I put this off, the later I'm going to upload this video, and it's been so long. I will say the concept of time when you're on board a cruise ship is so irrelevant. I mean, days become months, months go into seconds, like you really don't know which way is up or down half the time, and even to the extent of like, when's your weekend? Like, we just have such strange schedules, and I don't necessarily get a weekend, but also like my role on the ship is so bizarre too, because I'm really only in if people are out, so that changes all the time. It's just hard to know, but I feel like I've been on the ship for about 2 seconds and also 6 years. So I knew that it had been a while since my upload, and I knew I'd been active on Instagram, more my personal than my JLB creative, but I figured you'd seen me around at some point. But I did want to come back on and say hello, share a bit of my journaling with you, and just kind of give you an update as to how it's all gone so far. Now that I'm really getting into being settled, being in the swing of things, pardon the pun, I wanted to let you know kind of what this is all about. You know, there's always only so much I can share with this particular line of work, but I can obviously make my little video, and you know, you can see this little part of my crew cabin here. It's a very modest crew cabin, but I love it. It's my own, and it's decorated, and I get my private little space, and you really can't take that for granted when you live on a cruise ship. This is one of those things that I've only ever had at Disney Cruise Line. It's kind of rare for, even like when I was a dancer on the Fantasy, I had my own cabin. It's not like that fleet-wide though, so some ships you do share, some ships you don't. It just depends on the class of ship, but I've been lucky enough here to have my own cabins, and now that I'm the swing, I get my own cabin, and it's a bit different. It's a bit bigger, which I really like. I really can't fill it. I mean, I'm not buying anything because I don't want to have to take it home with me, and somehow I've gotten super frugal on this contract. There's really no reason for it. I've just decided, this is why I don't commit to things, because like once I started budgeting, then I got super competitive with how much I could budget myself, and it's within reason. Like, I still have a good time, but yeah, for some reason I was just refused to decorate this cabin. I put my stuff up everywhere, but if I didn't bring it with me in the suitcase, I'm not putting it up. Like, I'm not buying anything. Some people have really made their cabins something special. One of my friends, we call his cabin the Rainforest Cafe, because it's very tropical. There's leaves everywhere, and there's lights in the leaves, and everything looks rainforesty. So I told him that every hour on the hour he should have a big thunderstorm, because I would really like it to be just like the real Rainforest Cafe, one of my favorite themed establishments. I think I've actually never been to one in Japan, and I think I loved it because of that experience. I don't think I'm a huge Rainforest Cafe person, but nonetheless, let's just talk about how everything went. So I think the last time we checked in, I was in Toronto, which now looks like it's under 16 feet of snow. Very happy to have escaped that. The winter is not my favorite, so you could imagine when the snow started falling in the last few weeks of Toronto, that was a little bit challenging for me. The last time I was in Toronto, it was through January. Like, it was very, it was like that, what you're seeing on the news now, I'm sure, just covered in snow. And it's novel for a second, and then when you realize you're just always wet, and then you're going into places with 60 layers on, and then suddenly it's hot and you have to get rid of all those 60 layers, it became a little bit much for me personally. It's why I live in Australia and why I live in Southern California, because these are sunny places that don't have snow. Like I said, it's novel, it's cute, I love when it flurries, but the rest of it is for somebody else, not for me. Still had a lovely time in Toronto. I think I was so overwhelmed by how much I was learning and how quickly I was learning. If just to like cut everything short, if you don't know what has happened, I did close JLB Creative. I have gone back to Disney Cruise Line. I am the main stage swing and dance captain on the Disney Wish right now, and that means that dance captain is its own kind of responsibility, but for the swing, I learn a bunch of tracks and cover a bunch of the male ensemble roles and a few of the other like primary tracking roles, and then if someone is sick or injured, unfortunately, and they need to be out of the show, I will fill in for them. So I'm like a spare. I don't think swings like to be called that, but I don't know. I am one now, so I can call myself whatever. That's how I feel. And in the beginning, you know, it was interesting because I'd pop into certain points in rehearsals, like someone had a doctor's appointment, I would fill in for them, or if someone was out for a day sick, you know, I would fill in for them. But I really felt like I was just on the sidelines a lot, and it was a lot of processing tons and tons of information. You know, looking at a number, I'm seeing it being taught, and I know that I have to follow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different people, and I need to make sure I know what every single one of them is doing in that number, because at any point I could be put into that number to fill in for them. So I was just super exhausted mentally by the end of every day, that I would kind of check out and sleep and rest, and that's just what I needed to get through that. It was really fun and really exciting, but I've also never been a swing before. I've learned multiple tracks in shows, I've known lots of knowledge at the same time, but you know, I'd never verified that I could be a swing. Like, how does anyone know you can be a swing? It's just like such an intense job that you really don't know you can do it until you're in there doing it, and by that point it's too late, so you just figure it out. If you're that type of person, I am definitely, like, once I've committed, I've committed, so I figured I'll do whatever I need to do to get there. But yeah, I was very, you know, overwhelmed in the beginning. I thought, give myself a lot of grace, like nothing has to be perfect, you know, you'll get there. But then when we came to the ship, early December, we have a period called crossover, which is 2 weeks where the current cast that's on board will switch over with the cast that's incoming. And so there's just a lot of hectic scheduling that goes on there. So you have really early mornings, really late nights, lots of training in betweens for ship stuff that has nothing to do with entertainment, just safety of life at sea kind of stuff. And even though we did a lot of that in Toronto pre-boarding the ship, there's still so much you have to do when you get on board. So those days were just very, very long and very hectic. You can imagine accidents happen, you know, just things happen all the time. So by the end of that 2-week period, we opened our shows with a bunch of people in understudy tracks, and you know, I had to swing on and cover one of the dancers for the opening day. Like, it was just a lot of random stuff going on, and it felt very hectic. I don't know if I journaled. I mean, I'm sure I journaled a little bit during then, but yeah, it didn't feel like very much. I was very, very in it, locked in. And then we had Christmas. Christmas was so strange. It certainly didn't feel like Christmas in the sense that it feels like Christmas at home. I really didn't. I don't know, I felt like I was noticing Christmas, but it wasn't happening to me because I was not with Steve and the cats and, you know, with my whole Christmas traditions. We still did our Christmas card. I have it here. Hopefully you saw our little la-boo-boo, fa-la-la-la-la-la-boo-boo. And I love that. We did that before I left, so we did that back in September, I think. It was a bittersweet. Like, I loved Christmas on board. I thought it was so magical. I loved to see the grand hall with the Christmas tree and all the decorations and Santa Claus out there. I loved the very merry time offerings that we had. I loved the Christmas holiday deck show. I thought that was so cute. Loved to perform that. We did an indoor version because of bad weather, and you know, so that's another thing too. Like, we have all these shows, but then we also have contingencies for when things happen. So there's many a circumstance where something needs to be cut from a show because of safety concerns, or you know, something just doesn't end up working. So not only do you have to know everything, but you also have to know what's going to happen when something doesn't work. And that was like the second layer of everything that was coming into my brain. You know, when I left Toronto, I think I had a good idea about all my tracking. When I came to the ship, I had to layer in all of the costume elements, the tech elements, you know, the variable weather pattern elements that could happen. So that was a whole bunch of extra that I was kind of figuring out, even to the point where, like, when I did go on the first time, I think I was in the theater an hour early just so I could set all my costumes and figure out what was going where, because I'd never put the costumes on before, other than to try them on, you know, for fittings. I didn't really know what it was going to feel like to dance in them, or to, you know, you just, as a swing, you're always just kind of watching everyone else set it all up, and your role is really just to fill in where they need you, but you have to be ready to go just as good as anybody else who's on stage, because the audience don't know that you're just filling in. They think you've been up there for months or years even. So I think I felt a lot of pressure to be very good whenever I got put on, and jury's out on whether I was, but I had a great time anyway. So that's what's important, me having fun, right? Next part was, so we did Christmas, then we kind of went into our regular scheduled programming, and it looks different. Like, these cruises are a lot shorter. We do 3 and 4 day cruises. I'm used to doing at least 7 days, and that way you can kind of track your week out. We still have like a weekly-ish schedule of sorts, but it's different. I mean, the things we do on a 4 day cruise, we still do on a 3 day cruise. We just pack them in tighter, so that kind of feels a little bit more hectic. You also have very different, I don't know, very different ebbs and flows during the cruises, because the 3 day is over a weekend. So you've got people coming for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, who are just doing a quick little weekend getaway. And then you've got people coming through the week, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like they're doing a little bit longer. It's, you know, maybe the kids have been taken out of school for the week. So I think even that just brings a different energy and atmosphere to everything. And yeah, like I said, packing it all in on the 3 day gets a little bit more intense. I think I'm currently on a 3 day. What day is it today? Sunday. I don't know. The switch in scheduling has kind of made me lose my footing a little bit, but yeah, it all changes. Everything's kind of subject to change on a ship, and especially in entertainment, because, you know, we get to a port some days and it'll rain, and it's devastating for people who have, you know, wanted to come to that particular port and see the beach and go and experience their port excursions. And so in entertainment, you know, you end up having to be more available on those types of days to put on more offerings, so that the guests who would have been out on the beach, who are now still on the ship, have something to enjoy and experience. I'm really keen on all of that. Like, I think the thing that I love about this experience is I remember what it was like to be a guest on board, and I remember what it was like to sail when I was younger, and I just loved it. I thought it was so glamorous. I even had this conversation with someone the other day, being like, I remember being on P&O when I was, I want to say 11, and I just saw the dancers everywhere. Like the production show performers, the singers and dancers, they were everywhere. I saw them when they were eating their breakfast in the morning, and I thought, oh look, they're like famous, they're eating their breakfast. And I remember seeing them in the shows at night. I remember seeing them do bingo during the day. They'd be teaching me how to put on my life jacket at guest drill, and I just thought, like, these are glamorous people who are just everywhere, and just look at them, like they were mature performers, and they're out here just entertaining us and taking care of us, and I felt so taken care of. I felt so entertained and inspired, really. I mean, from when I was young, I just thought that would be a great job. If I could do that, like, I'd love to do that. You know, you grow up and you understand the reality of doing all of that work is a lot more energy than you remember when you're a kid, but I think I feel very fulfilled by giving that experience to people. I think that's a part of my job beyond the performing that I really, really enjoy. Just being a part of everyone's experience. You see so many families from so many different places and from so many different backgrounds and experiences, and they're all here for the same kind of reason. Like, they just are here to kind of escape and have just this magical, very quick, short experience, and hopefully you can fill it with as much excitement as possible, and to steward that kind of responsibility, I've never really taken lightly. I think I've always really enjoyed that was a part of my job I could do. And just sometimes you see their faces and you see how they respond to it, and it actually feels more magical for me than it does for them, I'm sure, because I just can't believe that, like, I really feel like I was just kind of born to dance and be on stage and just perform, and I love to do it. Like, I just really enjoy it, and to see someone enjoying it back just feels so lucky for me, because imagine if no one really cared, then, like, the thing that I feel like I was made for had no audience. You know, I don't know. I feel very glad. I feel very grateful. And I think it was not what I was missing the whole time, in a sense, because I felt like when I transitioned into doing art journaling, I think I'd explained this before, I felt like it was kind of the same. It was just a different avenue. Oh, the ship's really swaying now. I felt like when I did my art journaling, I felt like I had an audience who were excited to receive what I was really excited to put out there. I don't necessarily feel like I was born to make art and, you know, art journal and be crafty the same way I felt like I was kind of born to perform and dance. That always felt like I was so much more in my element doing. I think with art and journaling, that always felt like something I was just always pretty much a student of. And even though I love to share it, I kind of distanced myself from the product a lot of the time. I felt like, it's good when it's good and it's bad when it's bad, and it is what it is. For dance, I was like, no, it has to be great. And that's the thing that I'm so connected to whatever I'm putting across. And like, I'm really proud of this and I have to show you. And I don't know, it always felt a little bit different. But having said that, I did feel like I kind of got some of that through art journaling, which is why I feel like I've just kind of split, in my life. I feel like that same type of fulfillment I got from both sides. However, I think I've always just been more programmed to dance. Like, I think that's just how I was designed, was just to perform. So I guess not a great anecdote to put in my video for today after months of not speaking to you, but it is just the truth and it's just the fact of it. And I know we've had this conversation a lot, and I really do feel like this is just where I'm supposed to be. Maybe not specifically right here in this moment, like I could never have known this was how it would all pan out, but this feeling is what I think I missed from the moment I lost it in 2015, if that makes sense. I feel in my purpose kind of wholly and completely. With art journaling, it felt like a different kind of side purpose, side quest. It was a little bit different. And I still respect that, and I still am very glad for that, and I was still very fulfilled by that. I just feel like I needed that missing piece back, and sometimes I just like worry a little bit, or I still wonder, like, is this just it? Like, will it just be this brief moment in history and then I'll go back to something else completely different? Or is this the last of it? Or is this the beginning of a new, like, many years of this? You never really know. I think I'll leave you with this, because this ship is actually going to start to sway so much where I need a seasick pill. I have to perform tonight, so I have to take it before it actually gets bad. Funnily enough, I was cleaning my bed the other day and there was one under there. It's in a packet, it's not just a loose one. But yeah, so we've had conversations about what it was like for me to want to go back to all of this and how I would feel, and I at least wanted to make sure that it was worth the sacrifice of giving up so much that we'd all invested in for the 10 years that we spent together, because it really did feel terrible to kind of let that go. And I definitely struggled with it a lot in Toronto. I'll be honest, those first few months were very difficult, in the sense that I felt a lot of guilt. I felt kind of a bit of panic sometimes too. There'd be this like, oh, I shouldn't have gotten rid of it, or like I should have just tried to keep it. I know now it would have been literally impossible to meet any expectations that I would have had for myself, or that anyone would have had for me. I just would not have had the time or capacity to do what I needed to do. Even now, I think I still kind of struggle. I think I put this post up, like a week ago, and only now I'm getting to doing this voiceover. Like, that's insane. I would never have been able to keep up with what I had been doing for so many years, or even on a small scale. I just don't think it would have been good to make anyone expect that. But, I always wanted to make sure that people felt like, at least if you did give it all up, hopefully it was worth it. Do you know what I mean? You're going to make these sacrifices. You want to make sure that it was worth it. Imagine leaving, your husband and your cats for 9 months, and imagine leaving a business that you'd grown for 9 years. Imagine leaving your family in Australia for years and years and years. Like, you want to believe that all of these things that impacted so many people, that at least you got what you wanted out of it. And that's where I feel like I am. I don't think it's going to help people feel much better about the reality, but I am so happy to be here and to be doing what I'm doing. And I am so fulfilled by it that I know this peace I haven't felt since I was 24, 25. I think for that many years, for like 10 years, just this decade, I've been just a little bit tense and a little bit overwhelmed. And I could definitely get through it all, and it was very manageable. At times it felt like it wasn't, but I think I just always knew that this is like, when I said I pressed pause, like, this is what I wanted to unpause, this feeling of just peacefulness. Like there's nothing on my shoulders. I think I'm so fine. I'm so relieved. I'm so peaceful. It's like blissful, really. So thank you for just even listening to that, because that's annoying. But I just always want to stress, how grateful I am, and that how I did get exactly what I sought after, and that I could not be happier about that. So hopefully it was worth, unfortunately, the sacrifice that it made for us together as a community, but that it wasn't done in vain. I guess that's my point. The thing I'll leave you with is, I wish I knew the exact date, because I might just flip through it, because we're not on a time crunch, are we? I'm sure I've got some journaling footage to put over here for you. I was with my friend on my bed the other day. We all cram in here to hang out. We've got people all on the floor and all over the bed. I think you can probably fit about 8 people in here comfortably. Comfortably is a stretch. So I was writing just what, here it is. I literally highlighted it. My 5-year journal, Loving Her. We're up to the 3rd year in this one, so the halfway point. That's exciting. The passage from 2025. I don't know if I'll read the whole thing. Yeah. Instagram is inviting me back into their monetization program. This is from January 23, 2025. I'll just read the whole thing because you'll see why I think this is crazy. It's about a year ago. Instagram, I was reading this to him on the bed because I was like, and I'd pulled up a random page. I think it was the day, actually. It was on the 23rd. I was like, yeah, I love this 5-year journal because I get to see what it was like last year or the year before. Just kind of check in with myself. Where was I? Where am I? Where am I going? Blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, I love that. And so I was just showing him through it. And then I read this to myself. And then I was like, girl, listen to this. Instagram is inviting me back into their monetization program. I made a little bit of money on it last time, so I'll give it another go this time and see what happens. My business is really not growing and the funds are so low at this point. I need to do better with it or go and get another part-time job. Dancing doesn't pay for my life. Imagine if it did, ? That would be a dream. If I could go back on DCL and negotiate a good rate, maybe it would, ? And that was so crazy to read on the bed of my DCL cruise cabin, and just knowing that like 1 year ago, I remember what I was feeling then too, because I really wanted, it's post-Christmas and I was noticing that my business wasn't doing as well as it used to. And I just thought, remember I was telling you, at the beginning of the year, I was thinking about what I wanted to do, but I just couldn't see beyond a certain point. I would get to about the summer and I was like, I don't know what's going to happen after that. I'm sure something will, but I just have no idea. I started thinking about other ways that I could try and diversify what I was doing or get another part-time job. I started considering teaching dance as something that was completely different, that maybe, could open up new opportunities for me. And this was kind of the catalyst for a whole bunch of things that, really led me to end up dancing in that Lady Gaga MasterCard commercial thing. And then going on to doing all of the other dance classes that I ended up doing in Orange County, and essentially reaching back out to Disney Cruise Line, because I think at that point I was also a little bit done. I'd been to auditions, and there's a whole backstory for how everything works the way it does, and it's always very confusing, and kind of fate all has to be aligned in the right ways for these things to happen sometimes. But yeah, just to know that literally a year ago, I was contemplating how this would kind of solve all my problems. And then I was sat in the cabin with all those problems solved. And it's kind of validating in one way, because you think, yeah, I wasn't crazy. Like, I really did think that would help. And it did. It helped exactly the way I needed to. I mean, you never know at the time what those kind of sacrifices will feel like. I've missed Steve much more than I ever thought I would, which sounds crazy to say, but I'm a very independent person. And so yeah, Steve can be a lot sometimes, but I end up missing him all the time. The cats, I really miss the cats. there's so much, Christmas really didn't feel the same. That was a little bit difficult. Being away from home, in Australia also feels a lot further away. I don't know why, because it's still technically the same, but when I was at sea, I always remember going home to Australia. I think this will be the first time I won't come home from a contract and go to Australia. I'll be going back to California, so that feels different. I also feel different on the ship because I'm not 24 anymore. I'm not 22, or like I was so young when I was here before, but everyone else in the cast is very young. That's strange too. I've never really been one of the oldest people in the cast, and I certainly don't feel ostracized in any way because of that, but it's interesting. Like, it is a very interesting thing to come back and experience. It puts you in a different headspace sometimes. I feel a little bit more responsible, or a little bit more like I have to be a better example. Being a dance captain, I feel like I have more responsibility and I need to be a better example. Like, my mum will tell you I was a little bit wild in my earlier cruise ship days, and maybe some of those things wouldn't be so great for me now, but yeah, it has been wonderful. I really, really love it. I love to perform on stage. In the shows, I've been challenged in ways that I have never been challenged before. I feel like I've shown growth that I didn't even know I was capable of when I signed the contract. I didn't even expect to grow in certain ways that I have, and that was really great. I feel like that kind of happened at Knott's Berry Farm too. I really got pushed to grow in certain ways as a performer that I just never really even considered, and I really appreciate that too. It's nice to feel like as you grow older, there's still things for you to enjoy learning and achieving. Like, you can still unlock this new level to yourself, which feels very validating and very worthwhile. I also just feel like when I'm on stage now, I felt like this when I went back to dancing. I was super appreciative. There's something very specific about being back on stage at DCL, seeing as that's where in my brain my career ended in 2015. To be back on stage in a Walt Disney Theater and performing those shows and being in that type of an environment, that kind of magic, for lack of a better term, and even performing Aladdin, the musical spectacular, that was on the ship that I was on back then too. So to come back and do that all these years later, there are just things that I feel differently about now, and things that I notice differently. And I think one thing that I feel really special about is I used to perform, and I still do to an extent. I think everyone kind of does. You really perform for yourself. Like, there's this egocentric performer where you're really feeding off the energy and it's kind of powering you up to give it back, and it's just, I'm on stage and here are my lights and this is my costume and here's my choreography and here's everything. And I've always loved that. And I always feel like people who say they don't like attention and who are on stage are just lying to you, because we're all just huge attention seekers. I'm literally making this video for you, thinking you'll watch it. Like, how attention seeking is that? So I don't have a problem with it. Unfortunately, that's just the way I was born. But I do feel like, and this just really happened when I came back here. So I don't know what the switch was. When I got on stage, I started noticing everybody else and just really taking in what it's like to experience that on the stage with other people, and just watching them be in their element and kind of, I don't know, it feels so woo-woo to say like experiencing that with each other, but I just became so much more aware of everybody else having that moment. Maybe that's just an age thing, maybe, I don't know, maybe just unlocked weirdly because I feel nostalgic about everything, and maybe it was just nostalgia playing in front of my eyes, but I just felt, or also like, I think maybe it was because I spent so many weeks sitting on the sidelines and so many months watching all of this happen, that to actually be in it felt like it was experiencing it for the first time with everybody. That felt like a good way to bond. But it's like a camaraderie and a bond that you can share with each other. It is very unique to be in a high tense, high pressure kind of tense situation. There's lights, there's costume, there's fog, there's pyro going off, there's choreography that's challenging, there's so many elements going on all at once, and you just up on stage with people who have just accepted all of it. They're like, yep, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna entertain these people, and that just feels like I don't know, I guess it's like when we all get together and we start talking about stupid art supplies and washi tapes, and which, you know, if you've ever been to an art journaling the magic, you know, when we all start going crazy and talking about watercolors at a table at Disneyland, you know, when you start to feel like you're in your element with people who are also in their element, and that's just a very special way to bond with people. So that feels very, very warm to my heart. So I will leave you with that. I don't know how I end up getting so emotional. I'm emotional these days too, actually. Maybe that's a new thing in me too. I'm very, very emotional. And there's a million reasons for that too, but ultimately I'm just very glad and very happy. I hope you had a good time watching whatever journaling I've put into this video, and I hope to see you around often. On Instagram, hopefully. I'm usually much more available on Instagram, but hopefully I can upload some more YouTube videos for you as well, because I am still art journaling. I have my one journal. That feels crazy. I have my limited art supplies, or just spat everywhere. I have taken my watercolors to the crew coffee lounge and did crack those out with my friends the other day. So I'm going to slowly make art journals of everyone in my cast. Actually, you know what's funny? People have journals here. My friend Z has Loistrom that he uses for his notes, and I think one of our other dancers has a journal or a diary that they keep. Yeah, people get into it. And two people that I work with who are really good friends from Disney had Hobonichi weeks and have been using them, and I didn't even know that. Actually, 3 people. Okay, so whatever, there's just a bunch of people at Disney that had Hobonichi weeks, and I know it's not a strange thing, but to me it is, because I was like, you guys know I do this, how have you just never told me? And one of them is so great, I wish I could show you. I don't think she'd ever let me show you the inside of her journal, but yeah, I was loving it. They need to do their own journal tours. I'm still fascinated by it all, I still love it all, and I still follow it. I just create less content for it, and hopefully you found other people to enjoy. If you have, leave them in the comments. You know, make sure everyone knows who else is having a great time with art journaling, to you know, so that you're not missing out and you can still find all of that enjoyment elsewhere. I have nowhere to direct you because there is no business anymore, so it's just other YouTube videos and Instagram really, but I'm glad to have checked in with you. I hope you're all doing well. That chain is hitting the wall. I need to move it. I'm going to take a C-calm and then go and have great shows tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye.